cactus and succulent growers, it's Lynn, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a few little plant jobs that need to be done at this time of year. We're now into early August and I've got a few little jobs I want to do, and I'll include a few things in this video that you should be doing with your cacti and succulents at this time of year. And I'm also going to include just a very quick update on what is happening with the plants. I'm going to be doing a proper August cactus and succulent collection update in the next couple of weeks, so do stay tuned. But this is just going to do a little quick update in this video. And first of all, guys, I got in the polytunnel today and found a dead rat. Ah! Only kidding, guys. This is actually the big old flower that's fell off my very large Trichoceros pachanoi crossed with Scopolycola, commonly known as the San Pedro cactus. That's the other flower still hanging on there. And I did do a video the other day on my channel, from buds to blooms, of this magnificent 7-foot high 25-year-old Trichoceros pachanoi Scopolycola. And if you didn't see that video, do check it out. The flowers were out of this world gorgeous, and link that video up above and down below in the video description. And I was away at the time, but anyway, I explained all that in that video when you watch it. But the flowers, I was hoping they would have been pollinated, because I sort of tried to do them, but as you can see, I think it's not going to pollinate, and that's the one that's fallen off there. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a joke with you, saying it was a rat. Sorry, guys. Anyway, off topic. Now back on topic again. I'm going to be including in this video a little bit of, first of all, what is update on the plants in the polytunnel here, and also little jobs to be doing with your cacti and succulents sort of at this time of year. And first of all, a bit of an update. Yep, I've had lots quite a lot blooming, not as much as ideally, because the weather, I'm not kidding you guys, I'm here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and I think it's pretty much the same with the UK as well. Weather's been terrible. July was a total washout, heavy downpours and grey a lot of the time. This is sort of the first half decent sunny bright day that we've had, and it really does affect the flowering, obviously. I've had lots of buds fall off my a lot of my Echinopsis cactus plants, which has been very disappointing, because this lovely one here as well, buds falling off, and luckily I've got lots coming back on again, so fingers crossed. Saying that, I've had lots also blooming beautiful too. And I've had my Prodia atonis, that was in gorgeous twin bloom the other day, and my Gymnoclisium baldianum has been blooming lovely too, and my Gymnosaglionis, they've been beautiful. More buds coming up as well on my other gymnos. As you can see, there's another bud coming up on this one as well, so that's very exciting. And my Mammillaria boccasana has been blooming constantly, absolutely gorgeous. And I've got lots going on with the succulents as well. Here on this table, bit of a mess, but that's what I'm going to be doing today. Little sort of tidying up jobs, and I'll show you very short little video clips and put it into this video. Lots of them have been blooming beautiful. As you can see, a lot of my Echeverias have been doing very well over the summer months as well. And show you around here, some blooming for the first time, which I'm mega excited about as well. This is my just take you around here. This is Haworthia Savannah, and this is one I got last year from a popular garden centre and DIY centre called B&Q, and it is coming into bloom for the first time. Look at that, guys, absolutely beautiful. And what's interesting about this, it's down as Haworthia Savannah, but I actually think that looks typically more like an aloe bloom. I'm sure you will agree. These are my other Haworthias here with the flowers, how they come up here, very, very different, as you can see there. So this to me is definitely more aloe. I'm sure that obviously it's down as Haworthia Savannah, but I personally think this is definitely an aloe. I mean, you can clearly see aloe blooms come up on the big flower spike, and the flowers sort of hang down. But there's many sort of hybrids and everything, so that's what it's down as. But very much aloe. Happy to see that in bloom for the first time. my Anacampsaros here is also in lots of bud here, very exciting. Also aloes as well. This is little aloe firebird also coming into bud for the first time, so mega excited there. So lots and lots blooming and coming into bud, very exciting. And that's a little bit of a wee update. Just trying to think if there's anything else to update you on. Nope, I've got some plants also coming into bud in the big white greenhouse as well. Mainly Trochoceros, so that's going to be exciting. I'll just go and show you there. Here I am in my little white greenhouse here, where I keep a lot of the tall growing cereus type of cactus plants. And I have Trochoceros scopolycola, nice hairy flower bud there. And I have... Yep, there's another one around the corner somewhere. I can't really reach. Yep, I'm sure you can see the little flower bud at the tip there. Happy days. And I have my Trochoceros grandiflorus red star. That is got lots of hairy buds. So this has the most magnificent bright red flower display. And going to be very excited when that blooms. I also have one of my Echinopsis subdenudatas that has been constantly blooming on and off from the spring and summer. And lots more buds forming on there. Very excited about that. I also have my Crassula fulcata, commonly known as the propeller plant, with a gorgeous huge bundle of buds. Look at that. It's going to be incredible when this blooms. Hasn't bloomed for a couple of years for me, so I'm happy to see this in big bundles of buds. Has the most gorgeous, bright, orange, vibrant, colourful flowers. So excited about that. My beautiful Cleistocactus Choledemonosis, there, commonly known as the monkey's tail, is also re-budding as well. This has been blooming earlier on in the spring, late springtime, and there's 2 more buds on it. Happy days. It's just the most gorgeous cactus. Here I have a few cacti and succulents outside, and these poor things have been drowned with the rain, but they're doing okay. And my Opuntia aciculata in bloom for the first time in 20 years. I did mention that the other day in another video, so very excited about that. Now here I am back in the polytunnel again. I'm going to show you first what I've got here, that all the things I've got put together that I'm going to be doing, little plant jobs for checking on the plants this time of year. Now first of all, I've got the watering can. I haven't been watering the cacti and succulents as much as I normally would for this time of year because, as I mentioned, the weather has been absolutely dreadful. So I only water cacti when the soil has totally dried out in their pots, and also during times when the weather is very cloudy, overcast. I mean, it's been, the whole of July was terrible. I really have been very careful with what watering I've given them. I wouldn't water them as much as normal for this time of year. Last year we had heat waves and I was having to water practically every day, twice a day sometimes. But there are some that do need to be watered. So I've got the watering can here, a little bowl here with a long handled brush and a short handled brush, and a little bottle of rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, because I'm going to be checking for any pests. Any I see, I remove with the rubbing alcohol. And then I also have got here a little container filled with a bit of diatomaceous earth, and this is really good as well. If I see any mealybugs, I treat first with the rubbing alcohol, and then I'll give a very light dusting with the diatomaceous earth. I also, in the winter when they're all overwintering, I come in here and sprinkle every single plant and all of the trays with diatomaceous earth, and I've noticed that has made a big difference to keeping beasties, as in mealybugs and spider mites, at bay. So, and I also love to use neem oil as well. At least once a month I come in and give them all a good spray, and that helps. So between the 3 things, it does help to keep mealybugs and mites away as much as possible. Unfortunately, there's no magic remedy to get rid of them for good, because I'm convinced beasts come out of thin air. But you can just do what you have to do to keep it under control. This is a little brush as well, where I can just, with a diatomaceous earth, just literally just sprinkle on like that. And I've got scissors here, some pruning shears, so to cut off any of the dead flower heads, such as this. So that's always good to remove them. I've also got a pair of tweezers as well, because all the dead flower heads I like to remove. It makes the plants look tidier, and also prevents any beasts as well from hiding underneath the dead flower spikes here. So that's that, and I've got my little bucket for putting in all the dead bits, and I'm going to be, I've got a little brush and pan as well to give the floor a tidy up, as you can see underneath there. So first of all, I'm going to go checking for beasts. Now what I like to do when I'm looking for beasts, mealybugs and spider mites, is I like to use one of these little loops. They're brilliant because unless you've got really good eyesight, and I used to have pin sharp eyesight, sadly not so much now, I'm getting older. But these loops are absolutely brilliant because you can go close in, and that's how I often find mealybugs and spider mites particularly are very hard to spot. You usually see the damage after because they're so minute, but sometimes if I go close you can see these little tiny specks of little orange dust dancing about, walking over your plants. But these magnifying glasses are brilliant for that, these loops. And you need to go very careful and check very close in for beasts. Now I can see without having to use this loop actually, I've spotted mealybug nests already. And this is what they look like if you are new to growing cacti and you're not familiar. As I say, between the diatomaceous earth, the rubbing alcohol, and the neem oil, it keeps them at bay as much as possible, under control. But even that, you're going to find beasts. Here's an example. One of my astrophytums here, you can clearly see that there's a nest. And when I say that wasn't there 2 days ago, I'm not joking, because I come in here practically almost every day. Depends if I'm at work or not. If I'm home, I come in every day and I check for beasts. And that's literally just turned up there. And you can see here, this is one of my astrophytums, Myriostigma crossed with Capricorn in bud. And there is a mealybug nest. And that's what they look like, guys. Little white powdery, fluffy things. And if I didn't keep on control of that, they will spread and just go all over the collection. So that's a perfect example. I'm very, very religious about checking for pests, and I mention that in all my videos, but I've seen 2 straight away. So what do I do then? How do I treat them? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Sorry for the noise, guys. It's incredibly windy today. As I say, weather's been horrendous. Windy as anything. So apologies for the noise. Anyway, and I just put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in the bottom there. And I would use one of these little brushes. Load the brush up, and then one thing I love about rubbing alcohol, it just melts beasts away. Now that's probably one little bud that's come away there. Mealybugs, the nests as well, they always seem to hide around the flower buds, so you can't see them, and they can often make the flower buds drop, and that's such a shame. So if I hadn't got on top of that, they would have probably caused this one to fall off. So first of all, I've got rid of it. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Load the brush. Beasts. Unfortunately, when you're growing cacti and succulents, it's something you just have to deal with. And you don't want to just check what you can see. You want to also check the whole plant as well. Lift them up. Because mealybugs, if you've spotted some, they're going to be other places. Under the ridge of the pots. Thankfully, it looks all clear. But as I say, I'm going to be sprinkling with a bit of diatomaceous earth anyway. And I think that using the neem oil regularly also helps to keep them at bay. Check underneath there. You want to check especially under the... There you go. There's another one. As you can see. Horrible. Hate it. And... they're astrophytums, because they have sort of ridged bodies, they've got all these grooves. That's where mealybugs really do hide. So you have to be so careful. And as long as you can keep on top of them, you should be okay. Oops. Just turn this around. Yep, another one here. So, there we go. Happy to say out of all of the collection, I do have a lot of plants, as you know. It seems to be okay regarding the mealybug issues, considering how many I have. And then, as I mentioned here, going to be a little bit of a dab, a tiny bit. You just want a tiny bit on. There. And sprinkle. There we go. And I have made, rather than go into too much detail, I've made many videos on how to treat pests, including the rubbing alcohol, the neem oil, and also I made one special on the diatomaceous earth as well. So I'll link all them videos. They'll also be up above in their little information sign at the top, and also down below in the video description. That's all you have to do, literally a very light covering, and that will help to keep them at bay as much as possible. The mealybugs, that is. Once you've checked for beasts, the next thing I like to do is remove any dead flower heads that are not going to be going into seed pods. And I'll show you some examples on here. These are a load of dried up flower heads that this beautiful Rebutia was flowering earlier on in the spring and summer. And you can clearly see there's a little seed pod developing, so I'm going to be leaving these. This one clearly hasn't got a seed pod, so that can just literally come out, as you can see. And then I'm going to be going through them, removing the dead flowers, because I say that's another place where mealybugs and the like can hide. And the same on here, you can clearly see that's a seed pod, so obviously I'm going to be leaving that alone. And here, my little Rebutia hiliosa. Need to check there's a seed pod down there, as you can see. That's starting to swell at the base. And there's not one on this one, so that can come out. Same with this one as well. I'll check there's no seed pods on this one, so that's just a case of removing. Just makes the plant look tidier, and also less chances for beasts and pests to hide. And then with succulents, I use the scissors because I cut off these dried up dead flowers here, and I just cut them right at the base. Sometimes if they're totally dry, you can literally pick them off as well with tweezers, but I find cutting them off is easier. So cut right down to the base here. Let's put one here. Now these tweezers come in handy again. These are long handled tweezers, and it's good as well to all these dead leaves on the echeverias. As echeverias grow, they tend to have a habit to, so their older leaves lower down sort of die off, and you pick them off here with the tweezers. It's great to reach them. Also good to reach the bits on the table as well. And I have made a video on how to remove the dead leaves from echeverias, and I go into a lot more detail in there on about removing all the dead leaves from echeverias, so do check that video out. I'll link that up above and down below in the video description. Another job is to check for any seed pods that are ready for harvesting, and I've made many videos on my channel on how to harvest many different types of cactus seeds, and the seed pods can take many months to develop. But for example here, this is a Echinopsis one, and you can clearly see that seed pod has burst open. That's packed with seed inside, so that's ready for the harvesting. And this one here as well, that's fully dry, so that is as you can see, ready to harvest. That's packed with seed in there as well. And I've made videos on how to harvest, as I mentioned, so do check them out on the playlist on my channel. Now the next thing you need to do when checking for jobs is make a note of any cactus and succulent plants that need to be repotted. As I say, it's August now, and the best time to repot is either from very late winter right up until sort of early fall, autumn time. And you know, I do know growers that repot in the winter and they keep the plants dry until the spring. It's whatever works better for you. Personally myself, I like to repot either from the very late winter, spring, summer, or into the early fall. So I'm making a note of any that need to be repotted. For example, this Cactus rosaletus, it's very desperate to be repotted. When I water it, it's hard to get around the sides because it has grown so much, all the new growth at the top. So that's one I have to repot before the end of the summer, ideally. And also this one as well, this big Parodia, very top heavy. That's another one. And also this Echinocereus subinermis as well. This one is very, as you can see, very overhanging, very difficult for me to get in with the water in to water this one. I have to get the long handled hose and go right deep in there, but it's grown so much over the side of the pot that that's another one needs to be repotted. So make a note of any you need to repot, and ideally get it done in August time or very early September, before the winter kicks in. And the next thing you also want to check on, and sadly this is always the thing I hate to do, is go through the collection, check if any plants are practically goners. And happy to say that the cacti and succulents have been doing very well this spring anyway, and summer, other than a few I lost over the winter. But the seedlings here, these are all cactus seedlings that I've got, a mixture of a few different types. Most of them seem to be doing pretty much okay, except for there's a few dead ones in here, as you can see, and these are all dead, all dried up. And they've not dried up because I haven't been watering them. With cactus seedlings, I do have to keep them sort of watered a lot more regularly than other plants, other cacti, the mature cacti. But sadly, these have just died off. I find that when you grow cacti from seed, they always seem to do really well when they first propagate and up until the first few months. And then they seem to either get this annoying dry rot and die off. So sadly, these are goners. So that's going to be coming off, composted. So then once you've checked for beasts and treated any that you see, and remove any dead flower heads and any dead bits from plants, then the next thing I like to do is check any need of water. And as I say, I've not been watering as much this summer because the weather has been so grey and wet. But there are some that do need to be watered, and I'm going to be giving these a bit of a water now. For example, these are my dragon fruit cacti, different varieties, and they are more epiphytic, so they're totally bone dry. They need a good watering. And also my Crassula falcata propeller plant is coming into bloom, and that's totally dry in the soil as well. So I'm going to be giving these a bit of a water. My Lophophoras, I'm not going to be watering them because they're all nice and plump, and it really hasn't been that hot to really worry about. And most of my others as well, as you can see, they're not shriveled, they're all nice and plump, don't need to worry about watering them. My succulents as well, I've had to be giving them a bit of water over the summer still because they do dry out quicker, but they're all nice and plump, don't need to worry there. So basically you just need to check your collection, and it depends on the weather. If you're in Ireland or the UK, such as I am, you've probably noticed you've not had to water your cacti as much this year as well, this summer. But you always know when they start to shrivel. This is an example here. This is a Ripsalis, and they're much more... These do need to be watered regardless during the summer. This you can clearly see is quite dry and shriveled. I water this practically every few days anyway, but this is going to need another water. All my other plants, my Echinopsis here, they're absolutely fine. Don't need to worry about them. The same with all my Opuntias, the prickly pears and my big golden bowel that I need to repot before the end of the summer. So very little I have to worry about watering in here today, other than perhaps the string of plants. I've got my string of tears here. You can tell when the pearls start to go a little bit shriveled, such as there, that need to be watered. And also my string of tears as well. And with my some of my plants that are coming into bloom, my lovely aloe firebird, as I say, blooming for the first time. I'm going to give that a bit of a wee bit of water, and the same with my Haworthia savannah, and maybe some of these. So that's all I have to do today. So not too bad, just a few little jobs. So now I'm going to give them a wee little bit of water. I'm just going to show you a little bit in this video about watering these epiphytes. These are the Hylocereus that are more epiphytic. These I have to keep on top of with the watering. So mostly all my desert types I've been keeping, while the weather is not good, mostly on the drier side, which is not what I normally do in the summer. And as I say, it's very difficult when it comes to knowing when to water cacti and succulents, because it does depend on your environment. I mean, many parts of southern Europe are having heat wave at the moment, very hot. So they're saying, Lynn, how do I water my plants during the summer? And I said, it really does depend. If it's hot and it's dry and it's very sunny, water them every time the soil has dried out in their pots. If it's grey and wet and really not good summer like it's been here for us in the UK and Ireland, I would just water them as and when they start to really need it. It's really difficult because they're growing during the summer, but I find my cacti and succulents will really slow down unless they're having the high heat and the high sunshine that they need at this time of year. So I'm just focusing on watering the ones that are all coming into bloom and bud, such as this lovely Crassula falcata. So guys, I hope you like that little bit of an update, and just doing a few little jobs in the polytunnel, and just want to show you something remarkable here. As I was going through cleaning all the floors, I mentioned good to keep everything clean. This is a leaf that fell off one of my echeverias, and I don't know how long it's been on the floor, probably for a few days, and look at the roots on that. It's amazing how they just send out roots in the most bizarre of places with no soil and water. So that's ready to be potted up. How cute! So thanks so much for watching, everyone. For lots more tips and tricks on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, don't forget to subscribe. Do click that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus-powered day.